However, wholesale petrol prices fell by much more than that, by 20p, in fact, over the last 8 weeks.
So why aren't these lower prices being given to us, the customers? Joining us now to talk about this in more detail is Howard Cox, Director of the Fair Fuel UK campaign. Thank you so much for joining us, Howard. And I see that in today's Sun, you are calling for a 20p cut in VAT on fuel.
On fuel duty.
Fuel duty. Go on, why?
Well, it's a very simple thing. You saw the RSA spotting fuel has come down by snail's pace. Just me give you an example. Since June the 1st, pump prices for petrol went up by 10p. But their figures aren't quite correct. The actual wholesale price came down by 27 pence. So you're looking at a 37p swing. Now, the government in Germany have cut fuel duty by 25 pence. In France, it's about 13 pence. In Spain, it's 17 pence. And Ireland, I think it's 20p. They recognise the cost of living crisis. Everything in this studio was once delivered on a truck. Everything, it impacts on inflation. And we're seeing inflation at 9.4. We saw yesterday it might be hit 15% next year. One of the most incredible statements you hear always after someone announces about inflation rises, it's usually down to pump prices. And it's usually associated. So it's pump prices and food prices at the moment are actually are fueling, sorry to use the pun, inflation. And to cut a long story short, we need to cut fuel duty just like the rest of Europe. And I've got a lot of sympathy. I've met with Liz Truss. I've met with Rishi Sunak. They haven't openly said it to me, but I think Liz Truss would do it.
Yes, I do want to ask you, though, because when we say sort of cut tax, what we're essentially saying is reduce the amount the government is taking into into its coffers. I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, fuel duty receipts in the United Kingdom amount to about £26 billion. Correct. So, by extension, what you're saying is reduce the amount the government is taking in tax, an amount that is very, very substantial, and an amount that it is using to redistribute and, prop up public services. How are you going to plug that gap?
Well, Mercy, I expected that question. And it's no surprise you thought I'd expect it. It's very simple. In the last year, the government got an extra £4 billion from the extra because of VAT, because of the high prices of fuel. They've just got a £5 billion windfall tax. That's a total of £9 billion. We want about £8 billion of that to cut fuel duty. It won't impact on the Treasury whatsoever. And it'd be put more money into people's pockets. It will help small businesses. Corporation tax would be up. There'd be more of that because they're growing, rather than being stifled by this incredible pressure of high fuel prices. It's a very simple economics. Cut taxes, more growth.